Howdy everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to get started with some bubbles. Ooh, look at that. Whoa, we got one. Haha. Nice little bubble for you there. You can hang on to that if you want. Just kidding. You can't have it. Because it pops. Just kidding. It's over here. So that's the Amazing Magic Bubbles. Now, mind you, I hadn't done anything with that until recently because I saw Scotty P do it on his channel for his vlog. And I was like, wait a minute, you can put bubbles in there? Terrible. Terrible, right? So I put bubbles in there and I took it out and we were using it. We have a trunk or treat tradition where we like stand in a line. We go to different cars before Halloween to get more candy and all that. So I was cycling through the bubble grab, some cards, and some juggling just to kind of like entertain people as we went through lines. Went through the line to get candy. So anyway, let's jump into the video today. Whoa, we got 3 different types of magic cubes here today. 3 different levels of magic we're going to talk about. We're going to be able to show you some of them, but we can't show you all of them. We can talk about them, but we can't show you because, well, reasons. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, so first cube here is the Tenyo Magic Ball, right? So the objective here is it comes with a magic ball in a clear box. Now you're going to need a rubber band. And the idea is that you can put the lid on the box, have the ball. You're going to lock down the lid with the rubber band. So that is wrapped up like a nice little Christmas present. The lid is stuck into place. Now you have the ball. Now you've seen other tricks like this, especially if you look at the what's it called? Threading the, you thread the clothespin through the rope idea. It's all done under the silk, right? Just this magical thing that you can do undercover, right? So here I am while I'm engaging you. I'm just kind of talking about different things, and I'm putting the ball on top of the box. You should be able to see that through there. You'll be able to see I'm just going to pull the handkerchief, the silk, and you should see it go through. See right there? It should go through. No, that's not going to work. Nope, the ball came off. See? It's not as easy as it looks, people. Let's see if I pull it this way. The box just wants to go all over the place. How about this? We're going to use one finger. It's going to melt through the box. You hear it melt through the box? The ball is now inside the box. And of course the lid is still on, still wrapped around the box. So it's a very deceptive illusion if you can pull it off. I think depending on the silk that you have, if you do it correctly, you can actually, this just might not be big enough, but you can pull it and it's going to force this into the box with the method, of course. So this is a very beautiful thing to talk about because this is a setup, okay? There's things that you can do with this that would be really nice as an opener or just as like a one-off kind of trick. If anything goes wrong, I mean, you're probably not really doing anything else, maybe besides using the silk for something else or the rubber band. But the idea is that you're just trying to open up the idea of the possibilities of what you can do. And if they don't catch you, it can be beautiful. But if they catch you, it's just a one-off. It's just a trick that you're going to move on from. So I'm not going to necessarily teach you how you do it, but we're going to talk about the components of this. The idea that this is a clear box. The idea that you're covering it with a silk, okay, and you're not seeing it either. You're doing it all based on feel. And then you listen for the sound as the ball penetrates the clear box, right? And of course you've got the rubber band there to lock it down. So you've got some auditorial cues. You're really having the spectators pay attention to the sound that they're hearing. All of it works well, especially when you're using the silk, okay? So there's the first box, the magic Tenyo ball, right? So it just implements the silk, which is a beautiful thing to do. Now the second one we're going to talk about, this one is from Phantasma Magic. This is a little bit of mentalism, which is really nice, but the method that we're going to talk about today is one that I can't do here in the studio by myself. I would need at least 3 people to pull off this method. I would need myself, I would need a spectator who doesn't know what's going on, and then I would need a second spectator who's in on what it is that we're doing. This, of course, would work really well if you had multiple people in the room, but the idea here is that I leave the room. I'm gone. Okay? The spectator, who is the real spectator, picks something. Doesn't matter what it is, puts it in there. Okay? Now, you can do it one of two ways to really just beef up your game, right? So, you and your stooge would, or your proxy, would memorize the cube. So you can say, I want you to pick something, show it to the audience, and then I want you to put it in the box. You can either pick the one that's on top, or you can pick the one that's on the bottom. So for instance, let's say they pick the strawberry. They put it in there, they show everybody what it is, they put it face down, right? So the football is face up. Now, they're going to say, I've picked something and I put it face down into the box. So now it's completely hidden, nobody can see what it is. But by telling you it's face down, if the proxy didn't see the bottom one, which they should, but if they didn't, because if they just looked at it and then they put it in there like this, I put it face down, then the proxy sees the football, and now he knows that they picked the strawberry if they want to do it secretly. So if they just pick one at secret, nobody sees it, they place it in the box like this, the proxy sees the top, the spectator puts the lid on and then puts it down. They can even cover it with their hands. The proxy would then, once they get the language, which is it's face down, so they know the strawberry. Then, if it's the top one, then it's the football. Whichever one it happens to be, when you come back in the room or you turn back around, the proxy will then signal to you through a secret code that you've already worked out what the object is. So they would say, you know, it could be like if you weren't even in the room, he could like point down or point up based on which direction it's facing, and then he could say, let's say you've got 6 sides and you decided that the car is side 1, and let's say that the strawberry is 2, and then this would be 4, 6, whatever you want it to be. So then he can hold up down side 2. So you can say, you know, it's interesting that people want to put their selection down. So you wouldn't even have known that, but you're like, you know, it's interesting when people want to put it down because they think that by keeping it in the darkness, by hiding it more, that I won't be able to know what it is. But you're already in your mind. You're already giving away what it is. Yeah, I can already tell by looking right at you, even as you're covering up your strawberry, you know, and then you know you've got your red fruit there, you know, however you want to do the reveal, simply by, mind you, there's 6 sides. So let's say if it's face up, if it's face down, then there's, you could even do a different thing, I guess. You'd have different ways of doing it. But whatever your code is, you could come in the room and you could basically have it immediately. Because you could do like one hand is down or one hand is up like this. It doesn't even have to be like finger signs. So if people are looking around the room like, oh, he's got somebody in here who's helping him, you know, you're just sitting normally and doing whatever you're doing, like, I wonder what he's going to do. Yeah, I wonder what he's going to do. If he's like this, like thinking, or maybe he's got his hand up on his hat, or maybe he's, you know, anything that you want to do. So that's a beautiful method that you can do with a friend if you want to fool somebody. It might not seem as magical to you, but just picture the reactions of a room full of people when you guess what their thing is, when you weren't even in the room. Nobody even knows that you know, how you did it. And that's the fun of it. Okay, now the last one we're going to get into is the one that came with the cube, the Rubiks Cube box, right? So you have a box and you have a solid cube with different colors, right? Now the same idea as last time, except this time you're not going to have a friend. Now you could do the other one the same way as this, but this one's a little bit different, and this one's actually done more in the way of the first one. Okay, so the idea is you have them pick a color, whatever it is. Again, face down, face up. It doesn't matter how they do it. You just memorize what the cube is. So, for instance, let's say they pick white, and that means yellow is the bottom. So they want yellow. They put it back in the box like this, and you're like, okay, you go ahead and put it behind my back, and I'm going to think, right? Think very carefully. I want you to think about it. Think about it. What I've started saying, I'm like, why don't you think about it out loud? It's easier for me to never mind, just kidding. Then you're just going to hold it up like this, and you're thinking, I'm getting flashes of, it's bright. It's a very bright color, like the sun, like yellow. Is that, did you pick yellow? Because that's what I'm getting here. Let's see here. Yellow. Beautiful. So you're doing a little bit of an Aikido box style sleight. And again, I'm trying not to give anything away except for that second method. I pretty much explained how you do that. But the thing about that that's really interesting is that you're not really doing anything magical in that sense. And then if you go out and perform that at a party, that could be the whole thing. If you want to put, it doesn't even have to be this particular thing. You could basically set it up so that there's no prop involved whatsoever. So you can just go out with a friend and go do that, and then you leave and have, as long as your friend's there and knows what it is, you can have a code for, conveying like a charades basically type deal, which is basically what you're kind of doing, but nobody's saying anything, and your friend just conveys the message to you silently in a way that's interesting. I mean, the other way that you could probably do it is if you had like a speaker and then they're talking and you're like, okay, so you're gonna do and then your friend says what it is and you hear it, or the idea is that it's magical for the crowd, the audience, and it's a beautiful mentalism idea that can really help you sell this idea very nicely. This last one's pretty convincing as well, and you can, like I said, you can do the other one the same way and really sell it. So yeah, there you have it. So 3 different cubes, 3 of them, and we did a little bit of bubble grab there at the beginning. That's fun. They all use different techniques. They all use different types of interactions with the audience. This one's more of a penetration magical effect. The other 2, there's a lot of mentalism involved, and what's beautiful about mentalism is that most of it happens in the mind. So you're really just creating this moment. And as long as you do it successfully, you're going to create some very powerful magic. Does that mean that mentalism is a true form of magic? Well, absolutely, but it's imagination based, which really does not only imagination based, but psychology based. And psychology is the best way to go in terms of being able to interact with people, because psychology is really the study of people and how they work and how they click and how they do. So I would definitely recommend dipping into some psychology and maybe some sociology, because sociology tends to focus more on the group rather than the individual. So if you're doing any type of audience or audience control or building an audience, sociology is probably a basic that you cannot have there. Public speaking is really going to be able to help. How do you focus on everybody? How do you keep everybody involved? These 3 tricks all do something different from a different point of view and kind of help you hone those fundamental magic skills with 3 toys basically. But they can create powerful magical effects. So thank you everybody out there. I really hope that you enjoy what the content that we do here on the channel. And as always, remember, stay positive, stay active, and stay awesome. And we'll see you in the next one.